From Stonehenge to Cleopatra's tomb, the 8 greatest mysteries of history. World history is filled with unsolved mysteries. The past is marked by such enigmatic events that theories are still being formulated about them today. Was the Trojan War real? What happened to the tomb of Jesus Christ? What was the cause of the mass hysteria fits during the Middle Ages? These mysterious events sometimes leave us astonished, sometimes intrigued, and sometimes even more curious. The insufficiency of answers makes these events all the more fascinating. Here, we have compiled 8 of these events for you to explore in detail. 8. Who built Stonehenge? Our list of mysterious events begins with Stonehenge. Located in Wiltshire, Stonehenge is considered one of the most important cultural symbols of England. Archaeologists believe that Stonehenge was built between 300 and 2000 BC. The structure consists of a circle of standing stones, each approximately 4.1 meters high and weighing around 25 tons on average. The identity of the builders and the purpose of Stonehenge are still unknown. However, there are some theories on the subject. Every new piece of information about Stonehenge adds a little more mystery to its past. Historians from around the world speculate that it could have been built by the Greeks, Romans, or Danes. In a recent DNA study conducted in England, it was claimed that the builders of Stonehenge originated from Anatolia. The most plausible claim suggests that the monument was constructed by indigenous people living in England during the Neolithic period. However, scientific studies do not align with each other. Were these grand monuments a symbol of status and power for an advanced culture? Or were they built for trade and socialization among people? Despite numerous theories about Stonehenge, there is still no definitive information about who built it and for what purpose it was used. 7. Where is Cleopatra's tomb? Cleopatra, known for her beauty, intelligence, and her love affair with Roman general Mark Antony, is one of the most renowned women in history. Their love story continues to captivate the world even today. The tragic tale begins with the marriage of Antony and Cleopatra. After their marriage, the Roman general gains significant influence in the East, which creates tension between Rome and Egypt. The tension escalates to its peak with the Battle of Actium. Following the battle, Cleopatra and Antony are forced to flee. During this time, news reaches Antony that Cleopatra has died. Overwhelmed by the news of his lover's death, Antony chooses to commit suicide by falling on his own sword. Cleopatra, on the other hand, cannot bear to see her country fall under Roman rule. According to legend, she allows a venomous snake to bite her, leading to her demise. However, historians believe that Cleopatra ended her life by using poison she carried with her. Another legend suggests that her body was mummified and buried next to her lover Antony. However, no traces of Cleopatra's tomb have been found in archaeological excavations conducted to date. The discovery of Cleopatra's tomb, if ever made, would overshadow even the remains of Tutankhamun in terms of significance. 6. Was the Trojan War real or fictional? Undoubtedly, one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the ancient world is whether the Trojan War actually occurred or if it was purely a work of fiction. The legend of Troy is presented to us in Homer's epic poem, the Iliad. Interestingly, for a long time, Homer's account was considered a mere legend and not taken seriously. However, in the 19th century, Europeans began to claim its historical validity. So, what happened in Troy? According to the legend, Paris, a Trojan prince, kidnaps Helen, the beautiful wife of King Menelaus of Sparta. In response, the Achaeans launch an attack on the city of Troy in Anatolia. However, capturing this magnificent city would not be an easy task. Realizing they couldn't breach its mighty walls, the Achaeans construct a wooden horse and hide their soldiers inside it. Thus, the impregnable walls are breached with the Trojan horse, which was sent as a gift. That night, King Priam of Troy and every male Trojan are slain. This event is considered one of history's most famous military maneuvers. But how true is this story? Historian Herodotus states that the Trojan War took place in the 13th century BC. Mathematician Eratosthenes, on the other hand, points to the dates around 1184 to 83 BC. The historical site of Troy is located near the Dardanelles Strait, in the Hisarlik area of modern-day Turkey. Excavations carried out by Heinrich Schliemann in the late 19th century revealed numerous archaeological layers in this region. A few arrowheads and some human bones dating back to the period described by Homer came to light. While Western historians strongly believe that this event did happen, Turkish archaeologists and historians argue that the excavation work in Troy lacks scientific rigor. Thus, the Trojan War remains one of the greatest mysteries in history. 5. What happened to the tomb of Jesus Christ? Perhaps the most controversial and historically mysterious event in human history is what happened to the body of Jesus Christ. This event, debated for 2,000 years, remains unresolved to this day. Today, the majority of Christians believe that the tomb of Jesus is located in Jerusalem. According to the claim, after being crucified, Jesus was buried inside the sepulchre of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. However, when the tomb was opened in 2016, no human remains or artifacts were found inside. Therefore, it is unknown whether the tomb in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is indeed the burial place of Jesus. Since the inception of Christianity, the resurrection story of Jesus Christ has been the fundamental teaching of this faith. Those who seek to present evidence of Jesus' resurrection often refer to the testimonies of witnesses like Paul. But what do historians deduce from this? Some historians claim that Jesus' body was stolen from the tomb by his disciples. On the other hand, there is a theory that suggests Jesus was never crucified. Another theory suggests that this story emerged after consuming hallucinogenic mushrooms. There are even those who argue that Jesus Christ never existed. 4. What does the Voynich manuscript say? Continuing our list of mysterious events in history, we come to the Voynich manuscript. The Voynich manuscript, held under the protection of Yale University, is composed of an encrypted text that no one has been able to decipher yet. Researchers not only have been unable to decipher the content of the manuscript but also do not know who wrote it. The parchment, known as the Voynich manuscript, is believed to have been produced during the Italian Renaissance. This 240-page work is written from left to right, and most pages contain illustrations. Researchers, unable to understand the text, have been trying to extract some meaning from the accompanying illustrations. The Voynich manuscript has been examined by some of the world's most renowned cryptographers. However, no code breaker has been able to decipher its content. As a result, this enigmatic manuscript has become the subject of many novels and films. 3. What was the Fiji mermaid? In the early 1840s, an interesting event took place at the American Museum in New York, which hosted a colorful collection. People gathered and competed to see the Fiji mermaid. The mermaid legend had enchanted people for centuries. Even in our recent history, Christopher Columbus claimed to have seen mermaids swimming near Hispaniola while exploring the New World. The mermaid legend made a sensational comeback in the early 19th century with the appearance of a mummified creature, reported to have been captured by Japanese sailors, that was half human and half fish, measuring 3 meters in length. This intriguing creature was quickly taken to Europe by Dutch traders. It was purchased by American sailor Samuel Eads for $6,000 in 1822, and it changed hands continuously until it was acquired by P.T. Barnum in 1842. In the 19th century, South Pacific fishermen combined fish tails with monkey bodies to impress visiting sailors. Curious European collectors were eager to believe that such creatures could be real. During the age of global exploration, new fish species were being identified every day, and these animals possessed unusual characteristics. Europeans believed that if strange creatures discovered in the sea were real, then mermaids could also be real. In the 19th century, the public in Europe and America was interested in Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. People were preoccupied with existential questions concerning the distinction between humans and animals and the evolution of humanity. Consequently, the atmosphere was quite favorable for believing in the story of half-human, half-fish beings. Meanwhile, the Barnum Museum, which featured various entertainment elements ranging from bearded women to terrifying werewolves, was very popular. The museum's popularity increased even more after the Fiji mermaid was brought in. Barnum kept the public's interest in the mermaid alive by distributing small leaflets. However, after its exhibition at the Barnum Museum, this strange creature suddenly disappeared. Today, the world's most intriguing cryptozoological artifact awaits discovery. No one knows its current whereabouts. 2. Why did people in Europe during the Middle Ages dance to their deaths? In 1518, a woman named Frau Trophia in Strasbourg left her home and began walking down a narrow street. She started dancing not to music, but to her own angry melody. People noticed her rebellion, and this madness quickly spread throughout the town. After a while, approximately 400 people began dancing without eating or drinking. Historians referred to this event as the Dancing Plague. A similar situation occurred in the Rhine region in 1375. This phenomenon occurred multiple times throughout Europe during the Middle Ages. The cause of this bizarre phenomenon was never explained. People living in the Middle Ages believed that these events were the work of the devil. Today, both historians and psychologists claim that the Dancing Plague incidents were the result of mass psychogenic illness. According to experts, this type of disorder emerges during periods of intense emotional or mental stress. The Middle Ages was filled with experiences of war, plague, famine, and death. Psychologists explain this event as a form of post-traumatic stress disorder. Historians note that many dancers died from exhaustion, dehydration, and hunger. The dancers were so hysterical and furious that they even attacked wealthy individuals who were dressed in the latest fashion in some cities. Did the plague and despair truly lead to a hysterical dance epidemic, as suggested by experts? Or did another event occur that wounded the society? It is still not clearly known. Therefore, people who danced to their deaths in the Middle Ages remain part of the list of mysterious events. 1. Did Agatha Christie plan her disappearance? Agatha Christie, one of the most prominent authors of the detective fiction genre, disappeared suddenly in 1926. Just like the mysterious events in her novels, she vanished without a trace. After her disappearance, her car was found crashed into a tree near a lake. People began to believe that the famous writer had fallen into the lake and died. Exactly 11 days later, she reappeared out of the blue. While people were anxiously trying to find out what had happened, Christie remained silent about the incident. Prior to her disappearance, Agatha Christie had discovered that her husband was having an affair. This led some biographers to believe that she intentionally planned this event to humiliate her husband. Another biographer claims that Christie experienced a genuine nervous breakdown. Some people argue that Agatha intentionally vanished to promote her books. On the other hand, her doctors state that Christie suffered from amnesia during this period. The truth behind these claims remains unknown, but the interest in the case continues to this day.